you want sharp knife. Already did that. If you have a small cutting board at home, you don't, and you're breaking down something that you know is going to be a little juicy or cause a mess. Small cutting board, sheet tray like this. It's not anything you're probably going to be able to fit in your cabinets or anything, but somewhere, if you get one of these and just store it somewhere when you need to bring it out, it'll save you a big mess. I swear to God it will. Nice old chicken. Actually, it said young chicken on the package. This is I would say an average size chicken. It says young chicken on the package. Sometimes it has the giblets in here. I mean the gizzards. I don't see it. Good. All right. This is not a joke either. You want to take your chicken and you want to stretch it out. Make sure it's all stretched out, and there's a reason for it. Because usually when they're in this package and they're cold, they're stuck like this, and the joints that you're going to need to get through, they just need to be worked out. Kind of like we need to stretch sometimes. Sometimes they do. This is you're gonna turn this thing this way with the legs coming this way. If you look right here, it's my 80-year-old grandmother's neck. That's what you're looking for, okay? This one already has a cut in it. You're gonna make a little slit. It's gonna open that up. You're gonna do the same to the other side. You got both sides. Now, underneath, you're gonna feel these bones, and you're gonna feel a joint right underneath there. You're gonna, with your finger underneath it, you're gonna create some leverage underneath there, and you're gonna pop this bone out. See that? You're gonna cut on the other side of that bone. That's a leg quarter. Get your thigh and your leg. Do the same thing to the other side. I can feel that knuckle. It's right there. See it again? And it pops right out. It doesn't take a lot of force to do that. Do the same thing. Another leg quarter. Here's wings. Wing has a knuckle in it as well. It's a little harder to find, but it's if you're to make a fist and to feel your thumb on your knuckle, it feels the same way. You can tell there's a bone sticking out. But I can feel it right there. And the first cut is gonna be on the other side of that. I'm gonna use the weight of the rest of the chicken to kind of help me separate the wing. Do it the same on the other side. You can see where the wing meets the other part of the carcass of the body. That's where that knuckle is. It pops out the opposite way, so it's a little harder to get to. That's why I use the weight of this to help you separate it. Then we have the breast. And I like to, unless I'm frying this, I don't fry a lot in my house just because it's not as healthy. It's tastier than anything else, but it's not as healthy, and it makes a big old huge mess around my stove. So I just rather not deal with it. And I don't have a good air vent, a vent. So I try to stay away from fish and fried food. Not because I don't want to eat it. And this the breast part, you're gonna feel down here. You can feel where the bone is, where the backbone is, just like if you were to arch your back, and you be the same thing. So on the left side or the right side, I'm gonna make a cut on both sides. This is where having a couple of different knives come in handy. This is a fillet knife. I really like using this for filleting any kind of chicken or fish or anything else I'm doing. And you can see it has a little flex to it, right? If you ever filleted any fish, you know what I'm talking about. And you're gonna run that knife on whichever side you start on. Now, I'm not Gordon Ramsay skilled at this, but I do a pretty decent job. At least you'll be able to see.
It's like going out a tenderloin.
Yep. And you'll see the backside, on the backside of this breast will be the tenderloin, and you can see where that backbone is at top and it runs this way. So just like filleting a fish or anything else like that, you'll be able to let your knife just kind of do its job. And when you're there's a tenderloin. So when you get an actual tenderloin from a I don't know, a chicken place, I would say this is an average sized chicken. Some of them are bigger. So if you're ever wondering why their tenderloins are so small, it's because the actual tenderloin of the chicken is not very big. It's not very big at all. So it's they consider the Cadillac of the chicken. See, they're not very big. And the other side, you do the same way. And I am completely right hand dominant. It's really awkward going this way, and if you're probably the same way. It's I could flip it to the other side, but the way the bones go, I get this side of my chicken breast usually doesn't look as good as the other one. I'm the kind of chef, I don't try to put glitter on what I'm trying to show you. I'm going to show you exactly how I cook at home. I do have some confidence in what I'm doing, quite a bit, but also I'm not going to BS y'all. I'm going to show you how I do is how you're going to learn more, and hopefully you get better than I am. Usually one side or the other of this chicken has all this stuff in there, and it's almost never on both sides. Still there. Cool. Another tenderloin. Completely intact, mostly. 2 tenderloins. And for the purpose of this, I'm going to show you next. I'm just going to cut that skin right off. This is really good fried, by the way. If you ever like to garnish your food or eat like a really good snack, you got a deep fryer going or a little shallow pan of oil, it's really, really delicious.
We use the air fryer.
Air fryer? Does this thing work pretty good?
Yeah, mine is free already, just like the air fryer. So he won't eat out of anything except the air fryer now. So
All right, this has quite a bit of meat on it. Like if you were to boil it and pick it apart, you could probably get 3 or 4 sandwiches out of it. But if you're like me, I don't want to go through all that trouble because I have all the meat I really need off this thing. But I do like to make my own chicken stock. And so carrot, celery, onions, water, salt, and throw this thing in there and let it not even boil, but just like right underneath, I forgot what the name is, right underneath boiling, steeping in water for a couple hours, and you have your own chicken stock that freezes really well too. So do not, when you get to this point, don't throw it away. If you use chicken stock at all, make your own. It's much, much better. So we're not going to use, oh, here's another, I want to show you this part. So there's a leg quarter. There's a leg and then the thigh. There is it's always marked. There's a fat vein running right through here. You can see it right there. There's another knuckle that has a little dip in it. You cut straight across, and you have your leg, then you have your thigh. And this bone, let's go and do this the right way. If I were at home, I would not be wearing these gloves because they get really slippery. But I have to be on my best behavior. If I didn't have these gloves on, you get it started at the top, and you basically pull it right, boneless chicken thigh. The chicken thigh itself is actually only held together by one little piece. I'll show you again. Once you get started. There's not a lot hanging on to the bone. It does have some pull, and you have to pull it a little bit. It's not completely just dangling there, but one side of this bone is what hangs on to the chicken thigh more than any other part. There we go. If you ever fry chicken thigh boneless, which is my favorite fried chicken, is a boneless chicken thigh. This all looks nasty. No, let's not sugarcoat it. It doesn't look like it would fry very well. It looks like you'd be biting into some stuff that you don't want to bite into, but it doesn't fry that way. It doesn't cook that way. When you bite into if it's deboned the way it should be, you bite into it, there's no weird bristly part, there's no weird bone in there. It bites just like a chicken breast, only better. It's moist, it's very tender, it's hard to overcook. It's my favorite part.